What's going on? I'm Spencer Tillis.
I'm Kaylina Speakman.
I'm Trayvon Miles.
And this is the Delmarva Sports Insider. Coming up in just a bit in today's episode, well, we have a big-time baseball showdown as Colonel Richardson put their perfect start to the season on the line yet again, and they had their hands full and they took on Cambridge South Dorchester.
And Stephen Decatur was taking on Cambridge with the Bayside South title on the line, and who would be crowned champion.
And dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to get through this thing called the CAC. Salisbury Lacrosse on their way to 18-0. Highlights on the way.
But we are going to have to start today with what was without a doubt the craziest game I've seen this year, possibly in several years. Parkside Baseball, one of the premier teams on the Eastern Shore, one of the premier programs, taking on rival Bennett. Always fun when these two teams face off. And it always seems to be something you would not expect to happen, and that happened again this week. The Rams dropped a heartbreaker the first time these two met up, and while they were playing angry early on, Connor Shockley ropes that one to left center for an RBI double, scoring Colin Green, and then after the Clippers decided to intentionally walk Matt Smith, little brother Andrew, well, he got a good bat as well. Goodbye home run, a 3-run shot to right. Parkside up 12-3, turn off the lights, I thought. But back come the Clippers. Charlie Kerrigan gets into one. A 2 RBI double, scores Matt Christomi and Adam Mulcahy. All right, still game well in hand, but Kerrigan not done just yet. Back out in the 6th, sends this one to right. 2 more runs come in as Bennett is back within 3. Now they start to make it really interesting. Cade Russo at the dish. He floats one for a bloop single as Kerrigan and Joey Geary come in. And then after they tied this thing up, they would take the lead for good. Cade Hurley sends that thing to left, an RBI base knock, and I think they might still be celebrating over there at Bennett. They overcome a 9-run deficit again. 14-12 the final. And I mean, hats off to Bennett. Great win. But what in the world is going on right now with Parkside? I mean, this is a team that we came in saying, you know, maybe the best team, top 2 at least, definitely top 3. And if you talk to the parents, if you talk to the coaches, if you talk to the players, the thing that everyone's going to tell you right now, there's no leadership on this team. They lost, obviously, Jack Gertzen last year. He was really the vocal leader there at catcher, and starting for a couple of years. They also lose Hunter Parsons. They also lose, you know, a bunch of Shreves there. I mean, they lose a ton of guys. And all of their real vocal leaders, I mean, they're still, without a doubt, the top 3, if not the top talented team here on the Bayside. But they don't have that person that when something goes wrong that they can rally around, and they're having a hard time dealing with adversity right now. The problem is leadership's not really a quality that you can teach somebody.
Right. No. That's exactly right. And I'll tell you what, you never know what to expect on those rivalry games. We saw at Bennett what happened at Bennett, how Bennett came back on them.
Crazy.
Obviously at Parkside, you know, something about those rivalry games. And I'll tell you what, another big rivalry, this one in Dover on Thursday afternoon. Caesar Rodney hosting bitter, hated rival Dover. Scoreless here in the 3rd, not for long. Tevin Thomas sending a shot down the 3rd baseline. Jordan Hutchins come in on the play. Riders, they are trying to get out of the inning here. Thomas Pomado, he's going to get the strikeout, and he would get out of the inning. I tell you what, though, Dover, they went absolutely insane in the 4th inning. Garrett Lawson gets one in for 2, a 2 RBI single. Tristan Harris, Jared Hickox come in to score. Thomas back up the bat again, and he finds the gap out there in right center. That would plate Lawson and Christopher Webb. Riders, they are trying to end this thing out. Guess what, CR? They had a threat going, but guess what? Dover did too. Jordan Hutchins getting a punch out right there. Dover wins it 9-1. And Dover, the more I see them, the more dangerous I think this team looks. You know the names, Floyd, Thomas, Lawson, Hutchins. But what I really like about this team is how together they play. Everybody seems to know their role on this team, whether it's stealing bases, you know, getting on by walks, and just whatever they have to do to manufacture runs. And their defense is definitely stellar. They got Dimitri Floyd behind the plate doing the way he does. One of the best catchers in the conference, obviously. And I just really like this team, and it really seems to be benefiting them what they're able to do together.
They're a lot like the basketball team in that they're one of the most talented teams around, but they're different in that they don't seem to play knowing that they're just going to win. And
they don't care about
they go out and they do their job and they handle their business. I mean, they're impressive.
And then another team that does their job is Colonel Richardson. They're undefeated. They're facing off against Cambridge, and Cambridge, they really needed to shine big in this game if they had a chance at winning at all. And Colonel picking up right where they left off from their last match. Jake Zabron, see ya. Solo home run to left field gives the Colonels a 3-1 lead. But Cambridge, they would not be forgotten. Josh Townsend up to bat, hits that one to right field, 2 RBI single. as Evan Fishpaw and Devin Sparks would come around to score, and the Vikings take the 4-3 lead. Then Landon Warfield hits this chopper to short. The ball's going to fumble a little bit, and Brandon Tibbs would come around to score, adding to their lead. But Colonel, they're undefeated for a reason. Zabron yet again, the pop-up would allow Jacob Hicks to score. And then Dylan Nieper, he's just going to add some insurance right here. The go-ahead 2 RBI single, and Colonel wins it 12-6. And you look at this team, they're kind of undefeated for a reason. They never give up. Even when they're down, they keep battling through. And then when they're up, they never give up as well. They keep their lead. They don't kind of downplay against a team that
they strangle you when they're up.
Exactly. They make sure that you will not come back. And that's kind of what I like about this team. And if you look at who they're playing in their conference, there's not like a really big challenge for them. They're kind of playing a little easier teams, so I think that's also kind of helping them as well.
St. Michael's giving them their money. I love what Zebby brings to that group right there. He's really kind of come on this year. And you look at Cambridge on the other half, they are literally the Parkside of the North. They're just not quite as talented as Parkside. They have talent on that, but same thing. They were right in this ball game, and as soon as Colonel swung back, I mean, they just fell on their faces. And it's tough. They don't have the leadership on that team either, and I don't know why, but that's kind of what we're seeing right now. Well, Cape's baseball team, they were full of leaders, and they were looking to get a win this week as they're taking on Woodbridge on Friday. But the Blue Raiders would make a game of this thing. Chase Marvel with a beautiful blow-by right there for the strikeout. But the bats eventually would get going for the home team. Austin Elliott, this kid's kind of good if you haven't heard. He's going to send this thing into right field, drops in, and the future Cavalier gets an RBI double, scoring Drew McKay right there. McKay then showing that he can swing the lumber as well. Sends this one to left as Noah Piper comes in easily off the play. That was more than enough for David Eckerson. This man was a one-man wrecking crew all day long.
Nasty,
pitched a complete game,
one
one hitter,
sophomore.
10 strikeouts. He is a sophomore. That is impressive. Cape gets the win, 5-0.
Mardela and St. Michael's on Thursday. Noah Brack ropes this one to center for a 2 RBI single. Scoring would be Nathan Howard and CJ Chancellor. Saints up early, but the Warriors, you know they're making a run at it. Hunter Niblett, well, I'd say he got a little piece of that one. Sends it to the wall, into center. Scores Dylan Smith for an RBI double. St. Michael's turn. Howard this time rips one, an RBI single. That would get a run started. Then it is Andrew Risher. He's going to send one to right here for a sac fly. Luke Cummings is going to tag up and score on this play. Mardela would score a bunch of runs late, including this RBI single here from Ryan Hunter. But St. Michael's, how about it? They would close it out for a 13-5 win.
And Milford's baseball team was taking on Sussex Tech, and the Buccaneers started off strong. Dante George goes to steal second, and that would allow Thomas Jordan to go ahead and come home right here. And Milford would be up 5-2 at this point, but the Ravens would finally put it on them as Luke Oliphant hits a liner to right field, and Kyle Lewes would go home. And they're just getting started as Jordan would give up a bases-loaded walk to score Jordan Marvell. And the Bucks make the pitching change, but new pitcher, kind of same story right here. Cole Collins, he's going to hit this one to right field. Oliphant is going to come around and score on that play, and the Ravens are now kind of just adding insult to injury. Colin Buer, he's going to rip this one to the gap right here, and Anthony Hitchcock and Cole Collins would come around and score. Wow. After scoring 9 runs in the 6th inning, the Ravens win it 12-5 the final.
Yeah, that's going to win you a lot of games. Played 9 in an inning right there. But it's time for a quick commercial break. Coming up on the other side, though, it's time to trade in those bats for some sticks. A huge performance this week by Parkside as the Rams took on Queen Anne's. We're going to have those highlights next.
My name's Justin Hill. I'm shortstop for Sussex Tech Ravens, and you're watching Delmarva Sports Insider.